Hey everyone, I'm Mayor, the coach of Lit on a Prayer, and this is week 4 of the Chill Draft League. This week we're up against the Orlando Manectrics. Now, instead of just doing a video of me live commentating this week's battle, I wanted to do a separate video just detailing a little of how I prepped. So to start off, just a quick look at my opponent's team. The immediate concern is that Naganadel and Latias outspeed everything I have and can hit pretty hard. But aside from those two, the only way my opponent outspeeds me is with something like Cottonee using Prankster Spore to lower my team speed, or his Latias using Tailwind to increase his team's own speed. He does have a pretty decent amount of Trick Room Pokemon, but aside from his setter Cofagrigus, my team looks like it will underspeed his, so Trick Room looks like it would be a decent option for me here. Finally, the last thing to talk about is, of course, Metagross. Look, it's terrifying. With the proper support or speed control, it could theoretically take out my entire team. Also important to note, Metagross is the only true physical attacker he has. Everything else is either a special attacker or is at best a mixed attacker. Now, moving on to my team, my core 3 this week are Moltres Galar, Garchomp, and Copperajah. Together, these three have the offensive tools to pretty much take on anything my opponent can throw at me. So, while these three are my main offensive weapons, the other three are Musharna, Togekiss, Regice, are mostly there for utility or defensive support. Now, the main thing I need to be conscious of when using these guys, especially this week, is that I can't let them fall out of position, because if I get out of position, it's really easy for something to get one-shotted by Metagross or Naganadel. Moltres seemed like an obvious choice this week. It can hit his whole team pretty hard, and it has a great special bulk against my opponent's mostly special attacking team. It has just enough special attack investment so that at +2, it can OHKO Dynamax 252 HP 4 special defense Metagross with Max Darkness. And since it has Nasty Plot and a weakness policy, it should have plenty of opportunities to get to +2. Garchomp was my next choice. I'm running Adamant this week because the extra speed from Jolly doesn't seem like it will really do me any good. I've also taken the Life Orb off it this week and replaced it with the Expert Belt because I really wanted the Life Orb elsewhere. For the first time ever, I'm actually running a Dragon-type attack on my Dragon-type Pokemon. This is really there to give me that second option against Naganadel. Speaking of Naganadel, Garchomp and Naganadel have a very interesting dynamic happening where basically the first one to land a clean hit on the other wins. It's a one-shot either way, and I really have to make sure that if I want to win that matchup, Garchomp is the first one to land that hit. And finally, I'm running Earthquake this week over Stomping Tantrum just because I have a lot of Earthquake immunities and Protects on my team. Now, Copperajah is probably the one I'm most excited about. I've never used it before, not just in Draft League, but just ever, so I'm really excited to give it a spin. Prior to this week, I've had trouble justifying bringing it, but I think it looks like a really good choice this week. It has a really good matchup against a lot of his slower mons, type-wise, in that it underspeeds, or at least speed ties pretty much anything he might want to bring in Trick Room. But the main reason I'm bringing it is because on the off chance my opponent wants to run G-Max Grimmsnarl as an offensive weapon, I need to be ready to handle that. Moltres and Garchomp, I think, can both have a lot of trouble, and Copperajah thankfully has a good matchup there. It's something that has cost me a few matches in the past, and it's something I want to be prepared for this time. Musharna is probably the least remarkable member of my team this week. It's a pretty standard set with support, Trick Room, little redirection. Just nothing at all remarkable about it. It's bulky. It does what it does really well. I love it. I really struggled with getting these last two. I went through several different iterations, although by iteration 2, it became pretty obvious that I needed Togekiss. Follow Me is just such an amazing support move, especially since I expect to get outsped occasionally. And I spoke about making sure that I didn't fall out of position. Togekiss is great for helping me stay in a favorable position. On top of that, this particular Togekiss has just enough bulk to take a max special attack, modest life orb, max ooze from that Naganadel, and survive as long as it doesn't get crit or as long as it doesn't get boosted by Helping Hand. So that, combined with the Babiri Berry, Togekiss really shouldn't go down in one hit to anything. Now for this last slot, this is where I really struggled. Regice was not my first pick. I actually built out a Blaziken set, a Jynx set, and a Sableye set before I eventually went back to boring old Regice. This week I'm going with the Assault Vest set because I see that a lot of his team, as I've said, are special attackers, and with an Assault Vest, Regice can take just about anything they want to throw at it. Not only that, but combined with Copperajah and Musharna, Regice can form a nice little Trick Room core, and I think that I have a pretty good Trick Room matchup against my opponent this week. So yeah, that's the members of my team. I'm pretty excited to mix it up ever so slightly this week. I felt like some of my sets were becoming too predictable with Weakness Policy Regice, Life Orb, Garchomp, and so just being able to give my opponents a slightly different look is nice. And on top of that, I'm also really excited to try out Copperajah for the first time. So hopefully it goes well. Thanks for watching, everyone. Now go check out the actual battle.